fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Hi.
Welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Rosemary Lachance, an energy healer and spiritual teacher.
Hi, and I'm Dina Scungio, and I am a student of spirituality.
This is our 164th show.
Oh.
So I want to welcome you to the Life Explained series, a series which will give you food for thought information about spirituality based on the teachings of Hans Wilhelm from his website, www.lifeexplained.com. We will play one or two different DVDs on each show and then have dialogue about it. We encourage you to send your emails to me or write letters to me asking your questions about the show, and we'll answer them on the show or privately if you preferred. This is not a religious show, and no matter what religion you follow or what belief you have, the information we give you will only enhance your beliefs. We do not try to convince you of anything. This series is taped and will be shown in your area on your local cable network. And if you have a group that you think would be interested in what we offer, we are available to come to you and teach you from this series.
To find out what shows are playing in your area and when they are playing, please contact the public service channel in your town or visit Rosemary's website, where you will find a wealth of information. We will give you our contact information at the end of the show. And also, please like our Facebook page under Healing Outside the Box, where you can learn about the show, see pictures of past guests, and also ask questions or leave a comment. And please enjoy the show.
Okay. Now, as I said before, this is from the Life Explained series, and this is part 9. And the titles of the two videos you're going to see tonight, the first one is going to be called Purpose of Life, and the second one is How We See Others. And we have with us, again tonight, Hans Wilhelm, who's the author and speaker and creator of the Life Explained series, who's taking his time from his busy schedule to help us explain this wonderful series of DVDs, which are available to you on his website, lifeexplained.com, and also on YouTube. Thank you again and welcome.
Nice to see you then. Great.
Okay, as soon as the control room gets that video up there, we will listen to it, and then we will have questions and answers about it and a conversation.
Hi, I'm Hans Wilhelm. In today's video in the Life Explained series, I will try to do something virtually impossible. I'm trying to explain the purpose of life in a few minutes. This is usually a whole week seminar, but I'm using a very broad brush stroke to explain the basic outlines for this path. What is my purpose in life is probably one of the most asked questions of the spiritual seeker. And the answer may vary from soul to soul, as we all have our individual reasons why we are here. However, there are a few universal reasons that we all share. We are here to find out who we are and to re-enter into the oneness with God, or to return to the Godhead, as some call it. Now, this path, as I see it, consists of 3 components. The first one is freedom, the second one is love and service, and the third one is our unique expression of divinity. Now let's look at the first one. The first one is freedom. Why freedom? Well, we need to be free to be able to return back to divinity, to God. Let's have a look.
We are infinite spiritual beings on our way back to divinity, like in the story of the prodigal son, you remember? This is an upway direction from the low density of the material world to the high vibrating spiritual realm, also called divinity or Godhead. We are presently here on earth in a physical body, like we have been many times before, and in each lifetime we have developed karma and strong ties to a lot of worldly stuff like beliefs, programs, habits, rituals and relationships, and they all hold us back and cause us to incarnate over and over again until we learn to let them go. And most of us have got stuck in this wheel of reincarnation for a long time. Typical examples are all our unforgiven relationships, our holding on to grudges and anger. We have to forgive everyone and ask for forgiveness anyone we might have hurt in one way or another and offer amends. Unforgiven relationships are like heavy chains that can pull us back into incarnate over and over again until forgiveness is granted. Forgiveness sets us free, very important. This includes forgiving ourselves for everything that we think we did, said, or thought that was not loving. There is so much more on this topic if you watch my video on forgiveness. Furthermore, we have to question all our beliefs, particularly all those stressful ones that make us suffer. And we have to question everything that binds us to the world, like programs, dogmas, rituals, religions, traditions, nationalities, tribes, and so on. All of these are man-made concepts, and they're not found in the spiritual world. They are worldly because they all contain the element of separation, the us and them element. And therefore, they are contrary to the oneness concept of divinity. Particularly dogmas, organized religions, traditions, or race identity. Now, there can be a very strong pull on anybody who is absorbed or infatuated by these artificial constructs. Like very strong magnets, they can reach into the spiritual realm and pull the soul back into another incarnation. They keep us stuck in the wheel of reincarnation. Furthermore, any negative behavior pattern that binds us to the wheel of incarnation, like our craving, judgments, but Christ promised, "I came to set you free." And right here, in the heart chakra, we have the Christ spark, or Christ light, or Christ flame. This is a transforming spark that helps us to overcome negative habits and patterns and transform them back into positive energy, thus setting us free. And I will speak about it in a separate video. So, this first step in our quest for the purpose of life is basically all about letting go to return back home.
The second one is love and service, which goes into the opposite direction. Let's have a look.
This is where we open ourselves up to divine love and bring it through us into the world. And by doing so, we discover who we are. We are love. We are here to love everyone and everything unconditionally, unlimited, and all-inclusive. This might sound crazy, but it's not. Loving is our true nature. It's our default setting. Not loving is where all our suffering comes from. And if you find it difficult to grasp, I invite you to watch my video called Love It All. The Dalai Lama put it so well when he said that his only religion is love and kindness. That is basically sums it up and comes close to the ideal interaction with others. I remember Dr. George Ritchie was asked during a near-death experience, "How much have you loved with your life? Have you loved others as I am loving you? Totally, unconditionally?" Now these are powerful questions, right? And where are we supposed to do this? Right here where we are planted, where we live, among our family, our friends, our fellow workers and neighbors. Now in addition, many of us may find ourselves in situations where we are helping, comforting, and assisting others, like our children, or the sick, or the elderly. That is when we become the channel of blessings to others, as Edgar Cayce once said. And in many cases, we are fulfilling soul contracts that we have agreed to prior our incarnation. They are our opportunities to grow and open us up to love and compassion. But our love and service is not limited to other human beings. No, we are also here to serve and love and honor the mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom. It is our active way to glorify God in all of God's creation.
And the last component is our unique and individual expression of divinity. This is a more specific way of how we can express our true essence into the world and into our life. Let's have a look.
We came here to express God in us, as us, and through us. Sounds too big? Well, let's remember who we are. We are all part of divinity, which many people describe as love, light, life, joy, bliss, exuberance, ecstasy. And that is our true essence, yours and mine. This is the stuff that we are made of as infinite spiritual beings. And whenever we feel this bliss, this excitement, we are guided by our higher self. It basically says, yes, this is what you came for. It is like a compass needle showing us the direction to take. A long time ago, Joseph Campbell put it so well in his famous directive, follow your bliss. Or the poet Rumi said it in his way, respond to every call that excites you. To discover our individual unique purpose of why we are here, we pay attention to this inner excitement. It comes from deep within. And when we are doing something that corresponds with our true and unique nature, very often this excitement has to do with certain unique talents that we have. It invites us to develop them further. Some call this excitement our passion, our enthusiasm. It's all the same. It is something that when we do it, we lose track of time. But this excitement can also be a serene silence, a quietness that overcomes us, but has a profound feeling of inner joy and purposefulness. The teaching von Bashar suggests to act on our highest excitement as far as we can. We take it to the best ability until we can take it no further. Then we look for the next thing that gives us the highest excitement until we can take it no further, and we keep on the same way. But here is the most important point in this formula. We act on our highest excitement every moment that we can with absolutely zero insistence, assumptions, or expectations as to what the outcome ought to be. Then the synchronicity in our life will lead us from circumstance to circumstances, and we'll always be there where we need to be. The excitement will always guide us and knows how it is all connected. Now, why would Bashar suggest with zero expectations of the outcome? Because whenever we create a vision of what we want our future to be, we are using thoughts. And thoughts are nothing but memory and desire. In other words, all thoughts are past related. They are memories, old stuff. They are totally useless when it comes to our unknown future. But our higher self knows exactly where we need to be and what we need to do in this lifetime. And the guidance system our higher self uses is that highest excitement, showing us the path just like a compass needle or the GPS system. Now, think for it for a moment. Think of all the jobs in today's electronic field. They didn't exist 20 or 30 years ago. It is estimated that 65% of today's grade schoolers will hold jobs that don't even exist yet. Therefore, thinking doesn't help us, but our inner guiding system does. But we are not talking just necessarily about our main profession. It can be our hobby, it can be, or any other activity where we bring our true self into the world. Now you may ask, how do I know if my excitement is from my higher self and not from my ego? And that's a very good and important question. If it is from our ego, it is an adrenal rush. Like if we think that what we intend to do will give us recognition, approval, or even love from others, then it is guaranteed our ego speaking. But if it is from our higher self, it is vitality. And with vitality, we are guided via inspirations. Now let me sum it up. The overall purpose of our existence is to return to oneness with God. And in this process, find out who we are and express divinity through us, in us, and as us. And the three components to achieve this goal are, firstly, freedom, secondly, love and service, and thirdly, our unique individual expression of divinity. If you know anybody who might enjoy this video, please share it with them. Thank you.
That was very, very good. Really enjoyable.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It brought to light something I always tell people, and I think you remembered I've said it to you. When somebody wants to do something really badly, no matter what it is, in line with what we saw today, I always say, I don't know if I should do it or not. I don't know. What is your motivation for doing it? If it's self-serving, I don't think you're on the right track. But if it's in service to others, then I think you're on the right track.
I think that people can get caught up in the self-serving issue. Like, children are taught to get a good job and move on in the world and do things that are going to be self-serving, but they're not always taught that like, I've learned recently that things that you want, if you want for yourself, you should go out and do for others, because it'll come back to you in that way. Sometimes the concept of that is, people say to me, well, how am I supposed to plan my life and do what I want to do, and if I have to worry about doing for others first, I'm supposed to be doing for me first, so then I can do for others. And then I've heard, well, if you do for others, it comes back to you, and it actually makes things, happen easier, because you're not acting from your ego.
But there's a little catch here. If we say, so I'm doing this for others, then it's really like trading. I do something good for you, so something comes back to me. We do this only as long as we believe in separation, as long as we believe that the other person whom I'm supposed to do some good to is separate from me. Once we understand that there is no separation, that the person whom I'm going to give some service is part of me, I'm only loving myself. By loving another person, I always love myself. Whatever I give you, I always give myself. Whether I give to somebody in Biafra in Africa or give a donation to someone else to save the children, it doesn't matter. I'm always giving to myself. So once you understand, or once we understand that we are all connected, that we are all one. But for as long as we still believe I'm trying to help another, there's a separation. I am okay, the other person is not okay, he or she needs my help. That's where the ego comes in and plays this game. How wonderful of me now that I'm able to help the other person. And isn't it great that I now learned something where I can serve others? It's very dangerous to think that way. Once we understand that we are all one, we cannot serve anybody outside. Like God is not serving, is not selfless, helping someone else. God is, if we take the old traditional image of the Father God and his children, is only serving his own children and his own creation. It is a cycle because it's one. God and oneness, it's the same. There's nobody outside. And when we see each other as well as not anybody being outside, we are always serving ourselves. And then it comes from the heart without any second thoughts of what do I get out of it, etc., etc. You just do automatically. In one of my videos, I give this an example of when we cut ourselves in a finger. What we do, we immediately get a Band-Aid, put it on, be done with it. We don't think, oh, I'm now doing something wonderful for my little finger, oh, I would be so wonderful, etc. No, we don't do that automatically. And this is how all our service and giving to others should be. We automatically help because there is just no question. Your suffering is my suffering. There's no separation. So if I can do something about it, I do. And by helping you, I'm helping myself.
That's going to be a toughie for people. They must be saying right now, "Oh, how am I going to do that?" Yeah.
I'm going to definitely have
That's going to be a toughie for people to think like that. Don't you think?
I think it's.
We really believe in separation.
Oh yeah, when we look into the world, we do see
survival
only
of the
separation.
fittest, all that stuff.
But that there is no separation. That's a big illusion. It's only one, showing itself in many, many forms. It's all God showing itself in a billion forms.
So I guess the way to do it is just keep telling ourselves that, right? Some people say, how am I going to do that? Just keep telling ourselves.
Well, people are taught that from the beginning, and that's a hard one to unlearn. It's a hard one to realize. And also,
we always fall back. You have to forgive yourself. Always falling back. Yes, we grew up with this idea: everybody is separate from me, and I'm all poor alone, etc.
Yeah.
All right, but remind yourself. That's why you watch a show like this, and next time you read a book like this, and more it becomes part of you that to think differently. It doesn't come overnight.
You're
I mean,
right,
very few people are enlightened instantly.
Right.
It is a very slow progress until you really grasp the whole concept. And everybody is on that path. And as I said, a video like this helps, and anything else helps.
That's true. Just knowing it doesn't mean you can do it right away.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But it's a step.
Yeah, it's a step.
No,
exactly.
Well, definitely. It's like dieting. Actually, you know that you got to put yourself in a healthier position, and you know the things that you have to do, but that you have to actually take the steps and do them and suffer through that fight that you have in your brain of should I have it or shouldn't I have it, or I know it's bad, I know it's not, I know I should do this, but I shouldn't do it. It's a constant fight. It's a constant battle.
It is. Yeah. It really is. Spirituality has been that for me most of my life since I realized that I wanted something more and I was seeking spirituality. It's been the constant battle, constantly. And I've had people say to me, well, if you teach spirituality and you do healing, you must be perfect. Oh, no. There's so much to learn, and keep learning and keep learning.
So, I was curious when you were talking about, you have to forgive the forgiveness has to be granted. Do you in some way like if you die and you don't forgive the person that wronged you, do you get reincarnated with that same soul continuously until that forgiveness happens?
Not necessarily, no. But the soul can be also on the other side and still remain in the spiritual world. But very often it is the same, that they incarnate together until total forgiveness has occurred. That is my understanding. Now, there is some teaching who says, if you forgive somebody else, it's done. I believe the other person has to really make the forgiveness from his side as well, let you go as well. And it's sort of linked together. So the other person really has to, that's why it's so difficult for us to go and ask for forgiveness. Our ego really doesn't like that. But it is a forgiveness which is necessary. It has to come on both sides. One has to forgive and the other one has to ask for forgiveness as well. But when we ask for forgiveness, or let's put it that way, if I'm asked to forgive somebody, to somebody who I thought has done something awful to me, it's again another illusion of here. He or she has not done anything bad to me. That is all my ego telling me. Whatever the other person has done to me for myself. Nothing in life happens to me. Everything happens for me. So if another person does some harm to me, physically, monetary, or whatever it is, sure, I'm upset. Don't get me wrong, I'm not floating there. But I have to remind myself, this is a lesson for me. And I, in a way, have to be grateful for that person having put me into that situation, that I now can overcome it, let go of it, because it's all a question of letting go. So when a person steals from me, harms me, or calls me names or whatever it is, it's always letting go. It doesn't bother me anymore. It's not part of the game, of the earthly game. And so as long as I cling to it and want revenge and so on like this, I'm just reinforcing the worldly programs. And in truth, nobody has ever harmed me in any way. So I do, though, still have to forgive and say, I forgive you, whatever it is. But it is, in a form, it's very condescending if I say, I forgive you. Because in a way, I'm saying, I was right and you were wrong. Again, this is an illusion. It's an ego game here. So true forgiveness, basically, you find out that the other person never did anything wrong to you. Then you're forgiven from your heart. And whatever he or she you think has done is for your benefit on the earth. Because there's always some benefit, whatever happens to us, through which we grow, through which we learn, through which we become more compassionate, more understanding.
So that's going to be that's probably one of the hardest lessons to learn, I think, here, because I mean, and I think one of the biggest problems is the media. But just take for instance a whole case like Dr. Pettit and his whole family being killed and all that. That's a hard lesson for the media. Does what they do, and people believe what they believe, and condemnation and everything else. And you're gonna hear people say, there is no way that you can forgive this guy for all the terrible things they did for his family. How do you get people to say, go towards that question? That's a tough one, because that's a lot of pain and hurt, and if that was me, I would probably want to find them and kill them myself. Knowing what I know, it would be really hard for me to.
But had you been brought up with the Amish people, for instance, when there was a few years ago somebody killed all these girls in that school.
Oh yeah.
The first thing they did, they invited that person's family to come and have service together. The first thing was to heal with the person.
Yeah, I remember
That's the first step. That's the upbringing. And we are brought up, those who are not Amish here in America, with revenge.
Right.
Fighting back.
Right.
And this is, again, we have to forgive ourselves. This is our impatience. Because whenever somebody does something, quote, wrong, like killing somebody, sooner or later karma will automatically come and teach that person this wasn't a good idea. In a loving way, that person maybe get killed himself or whatever it is, but that soul will automatically, by the pure laws of karma, learn that what they did wasn't right. But we can't wait, because we want to see instant gratification. We throw them in prison, we kill them, or whatever it is. But nobody escapes their karma. So the so-called killer, the thief, or anybody who does anything, quote, evil, will sooner or later learn his lessons by being on the other side. So everything will automatically come in perfect harmony to its own conclusion. But it's our impatience which asks for revenge. And it's also another thing that we always feel superior. It's our wonderful ego feeling superior. I would never kill anybody. But the moment we start our car and put gas into the atmosphere here, basically in a small way we are killing continuously by eating whatever consumption. We are deforesting the forests, etc., by eating meat or whatever it is. Right. We do 1,000 things where slowly but very subtly we are killing this planet and all humanity as well. We are doing a very slow killing. The killer who shoots is an honest killer. We are just very dishonest about how we kill this planet. That's the difference.
I would like to say that I would never kill somebody. I would like to believe that I would never kill somebody, but if I was, in a store with my husband and someone came in there and wanted to rob the store and they shot my husband and there was a bat nearby and I could clock them, I mean, I would do it. I would say that I don't think, as much as I know about all of this, it's a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think that I could tell you 100%. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be in that situation, and I don't know. And I'm not saying I'm better, but I only understand it this way, and I don't know in what kind of state of I will be when something like this happen. But I don't want to be tested on it either.
I don't either. No.
Yeah, me three.
No,
but sometimes it's good to really think about these things, because even if you're not personally in that situation, but you see it on television and you get all your blood going up and so why is it coming up? Why? What is this word showing you about yourself? It's a law of projection. Another video we will talk about one day. Whatever I see in the outside world, what gives me emotional charges, is something that I have not loved in myself. There is no exception to that rule. The outside world is nothing but a reflection of our own beliefs. So whatever I believe about myself, I see in the world outside. If I don't like myself, I don't like the world. If I hate myself, I hate the world. If I love myself, the world is pretty nice out there. It has everything to do with my beliefs being projected outside. Edgar Tolle tells it so well: the internal mind is the primary reality and outside is a secondary reality. And whatever we project onto the screen of our mind, we see in the world outside. And if we want to change anything in the outside world, if we want to change the wars, the killing in the outside world, we firstly have to do the wars, stop the wars within ourselves. It always starts with us.
I think that, now that you say that, I think that if I were to reflect on why that would make me angry enough to lash back, it would be from what I went through, the feeling of helplessness.
Yeah.
And wanting to react to that. I think that's where it would come
from.
from.
The body wants to protect, the ego wants to protect the body. That's the job of the ego, to be protective of the body, because we need this body for survival. So it's a natural kind of reaction to fight back, to protect your body. So that's, in a way, you're doing a very normal thing to do. But when it becomes on a bigger way, to kill and revenge and things like this, we're having a little different issues here.
So essentially, when you're making a soul contract with somebody, you both have something to learn, and you agree on this contract where they're going to learn that the killing that they did was not right, and you're going to learn whatever you had to learn by witnessing something like that or whatever it was.
There is you decide for growth for both of you, or one of them, it doesn't matter. One of them may just incarnate out of love and does a very difficult job of becoming the killer in your life to teach you a lesson. That soul can be very, very highly evolved, but does it out of love, to take on, let's say, the role of a drunken, to make it be a drunk husband who is continuously drunk, just for you to learn a certain lesson, to love in spite of it. So that soul has taken on a role just to learn to teach you or anybody else a lesson. That person may not be karmic, may not have a karmic burden, but has taken it out on love. Let's not forget, our little visit here on Earth is only 850,000 hours. It's a very small kind of trip here. And it's like going to the movie house for 2 hours and so on. It's a very quick thing. So it says, all right, I come out, I help you, see how it goes, and then we go up and have a good talk about it after that.
Wow, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's a short visit here, very short. And as you get older, like myself, you know it's just only a few hours left.
I know. When I was talking to Michael yesterday, he said, geez, a blink of my eye. He's like 52 now. He said, in a blink of my eye, here I am at this age, and I've already got children, this and that. And last time when I talked to you, I didn't even have a girlfriend. He said, that's how fast it goes. And you're right. It goes so fast.
Always faster the older you get.
Yeah. And I go, how did I get here? Who's that girl in that mirror? Oh, it's true.
I've recently had a friend who contacted me and wanted to know about coming to my church and all that, because she was saying how she really needs God in her life now, and that she was stuck on a verse from the Bible where Jesus said to her, I do not know you. Well, Jesus said, I do not know you. And I'm not sure exactly where in the Bible it's written, but I kind of had a hard time with that statement, because I feel like there's no way he would say something like, he knows us all. That's why he did what he did. He knows us all, and it was hard for me to convey to her about love and everything else, because she's really stuck in a hard place.
You're asking the wrong person. I do not know the Bible by heart.
No, I don't either.
It's an interesting book.
I don't either.
And there's a lot of great stories, and there's some truth in it too, but
I wonder what
I don't know why he said that.
To get past that, to help her to get past that, by instilling her.
Where she read it, read the verse, and sometimes you take something out of context and it changes everything. Read it, see what the words are, the paragraphs before and after that. You can understand what he's saying. Because I've heard that, but I think it's got to do with you don't know me, or something different, completely different.
And a lot of stuff has been added.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been added to the Bible, as we talked about.
Since the beginning, when they found them.
When they put them together.
Oh yeah. You can't take that Bible verbatim, you know.
What was the other question I had? No, we talked about that, creating a vision of what you want your life to be. I think those were my questions. Those are pretty much mine.
Okay, well, then we will go on to the second video. As soon as the control room gets it up on the screen, we'll listen to it and we'll talk about it.
Hi, I'm Hans Wilhelm. And in this video in the Life Explained series, I would like to talk about how we very often see other people. We rarely see them as they truly are. We only see ourselves wherever we look. The Talmud said it so well. We see the world not as it is, but as we are. The world around us reflects back to us all our issues, our beliefs, and particularly anything that we have not yet loved. Now, let's look at a typical example how we often see other people. A very typical example is being afraid of getting older. Let's imagine if we have a charge against getting older. We will see and feel that charge wherever we see anything that has to do with aging. If we, for instance, see an elderly person on the other side of the road, we firstly see our own charge, not the elderly person so much. We see our own charge. Here we are oh my God. Old age, oh my God, who wants that? So we are afraid. The elderly person is reflecting back to us our own charge and belief. That's why it's also called the triggering law, because it triggers something off in us, something that we have not yet loved and accepted in ourselves. We usually react from our own fear when seeing such a person. For instance, we feel now pity for that person, which is very condescending, which is nothing but our own imagined fears of aging. Again, from the perspective of our own fear, we may think that the person needs help to cross the road, and we may even rush over and pull him across the street whether he wants it or not, all from our own personal limited belief and fear perspective. But how can we respond and see the real person on the other side? For that we have to see him with our inner eyes or our heart. This is our own beautiful, radiant soul. Remember, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said it so well, it's only with the heart that one sees rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Now, from our higher self, our unlimited self, our perfect soul, we can see with our inner eyes, or our heart, the wonderful, radiant being of that elderly person. And then everything shifts. It immediately makes us equal. No more condescending thoughts or pity. We now can see this wonderful other soul has taken on the temporary role of an elderly person. It's just like a mask an actor wears. Remember Shakespeare's words in As You Like It? All the world is a stage and all the men and women are merely players. They all have their exit and entrances. When we now connect on the soul level, we can feel into the real needs of that elderly person much better. We are no longer blinded by our own personal fears and beliefs. Maybe we can now sense that he is quite happy on the other side of the road enjoying the passing traffic. Or he is waiting for his wife to pick him up in a car. Or maybe we sense some confusion in that person, like being lost. The help we are then offering him is not colored by our own issues, but it's genuine help. So let us never be fooled by our own reflections or masks everybody is wearing. Let us try to see beyond the mask, into the soul of the other, and we begin to see truth.
That is a tough one. There really is. No one likes old age. And we look at someone and we do say that. And not only that, not only old age, but I notice with people who are not like us, people who have a deformity of some kind, or people that have, are crippled of some way. I remember when I had a problem with my hip and I would drive in the grocery store in the cart, and I had the cane, and people didn't look at me. They'd go right by. They would avoid looking at me. And I was like so shocked. I'm wondering, I was ready for it with a big smile, but they didn't look at me. And I was wondering why they did that. And I thought that they were thinking, that could be me. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to see that. What do you think when somebody does that? I was shocked. Why would you think they wouldn't look at me like that?
Probably it's the fear of being sort of, quote, infected by it.
Like infected, yeah. They don't want it to get. They don't want to be infected by it. See themselves like that, I would think. So they don't.
But the other thing is for everybody is afraid of old age. That's not true. It's in our society here where we are so youth-oriented, and there are other societies who really, really respect with reverence the older person, have always done for thousands of years, because the older person very often was wiser, particularly those who survived, who lived a long time. Not everybody lived long, but those few who got really, really old survived a long time and had a lot of wisdom and stories and history to tell. So there was always a respect for the older person, and I'm sure with the original Americans, the Indians, I'm sure they respected the elders more than the white men when they came.
Right.
So I would again say this is a culture thing, and it's up to us whether we want to buy into it or not. There is a lot we can learn from the older person, and unfortunately what we do here is we are separating the older people. We put them in the old age home, and we put the young kids in the kindergarten, and they should definitely be together. Because the one just came from the spiritual world, and the other one is going through in the spiritual world. They have a lot in common to share. And it gives the older person something to do. Now in Europe, there's a lot of change there. They really have the living together of all the age groups together and so on. These old age homes kind of are fading out.
That's great.
And we should put it together here, and just so that the young, particularly the very young ones, can benefit from the older ones. Again, something what we have forgotten in this society is that parents were never there to bring up children. That is a very new concept. It was always the grandparents grandparents in the extended household who brought up the children. They are the ones who were no longer fighting for survival, because that was a new generation. Their kids were doing it, and they had the peace and quietness, and they could give the stability to the young children. So now when our grandparents are just shoved to Florida or somewhere else, etc., they're done with, and so on. It's a sad thing. So old age has an important purpose for society if we allow it.
That's so true. When I was a kid, we didn't put Grandma and Grandpa in a nursing home. They lived with us.
Yes.
And because women didn't have to work so much, and they lived there. And yeah, you're right. The grandma was there all the time. I used to call her Noni. She was there all the time, and it was just a whole different world. And I did learn a lot from her. Sure. You're absolutely right.
And
but
it's just her presence sometimes. Her presence.
Yeah,
that's
right.
all which was required. We don't have to teach kids. Kids know and learn by example, but by the presence, by the quietness. Yeah.
Yeah. Today the world is youth oriented. And that a lot of that has to do with the commercials on television, the people who sell these products. They insist on youth all the time. The shows they put on television is all youth, youth, youth all the time. And once you get a certain age, they don't want you anymore. So that's what they're teaching people. That's what they're teaching the young people. Young girls think about having facelifts at 25 years old. Things like that.
Facelifts, boob jobs.
Yeah, everything. The body
Kids
lift.
in high school are doing that. Girls in high school.
So that's something that really needs to be done here. We are like a desert when it comes to spirituality and learning about things like that. We are a desert here in the United States. I'm glad to hear that in Europe they're doing away with that kind of thing.
But also we have to remember, when we see it, like in television or wherever you see this youth culture, then and it bothers you, then ask yourself, why does it bother me? That's the key. Everything which gives us an emotional charge is here to tell us something. Emotions always tell me I've lied to myself. An emotion equals a lie. Whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't matter, because it brings me out of peace, out of harmony. And I only see one side of the whole thing. I do not see the whole thing. Everything in this universe has got two sides, like a coin. It has a negative and a positive. We call the yin-yang in the Chinese the same thing. It applies to everything, which includes youth culture, old age culture, whatever it is. So we always if we have an emotional reaction, then we are either over-infatuated with something, when we sort of love it too much, or sort of are really hot about it, or if you hate it, then we are really resenting it. And in both cases, there's an imbalance in us, which needs to be looked at. Why am I reacting either with resenting this thing or being infatuated with it? I'm not using the word love, it's a bit different. So we have to find out, what is it? Why am I drawn to it or repelled by it? And that very thing is something which I do not, is within myself as well, which I'm doing to myself as well. And I have to clear it up in myself first. I have to learn to love this thing on both sides and see the total, utter harmony and balance. Everything is totally balanced. And as long as we something see only as negative or only good, we do not see the totality. And when we see the totality, the plus and minus being totally in harmony with each other, then we are at peace and we are loving, and then we see the whole picture. And we are no longer drawn by half of the picture. As I said on the illustration, you're not drawn by the old person seeing there. We see the whole picture. We see the whole person, the whole soul. Whenever something that upsets us, it's a message for us to look into it, what it is specifically, and learn to love it.
I guess I was thinking about it while you were saying it, and I guess that one of the things that I guess will make me feel upset about it is because I came from a big family, not brothers and sisters, I don't have any, but all my aunts and uncles and cousins and everything. And I remember the peacefulness of those times and the respect that people had for themselves and for others. And I've seen the world change, the people's thoughts and things change through the years. And that's kind of gone downhill in that part of it. And I think that's why. So I don't know, I have to see what it means in me, but that's what makes me get upset when I see such a change, and I see that the people are I used to take care of the elderly, in the homes and in their own homes, and I saw how they were treated and everything.
May I ask, how much are you taking care of yourself?
Well, as best I can.
It comes always best back to you. It's always easier to fix the world out. We think it's fixed outside. But when you say, I should take care of the elderly, the first question comes...
No, I did take care of the elderly.
Yeah, you did. But it comes, how much do I take care of myself with it? That is always the first thing. If we are not balanced, we can't really help another person. If we are not really, as much as we can be balanced.
What am I doing for myself? Yeah, I know. I'm the last on the list.
You see?
Yeah, I'm always the
And
last on the list.
then you get frustrated. And then you see, oh, everybody else is sort of very selfish or whatever it is. It says, no. It is because you have not taken care of yourself, enough of yourself. And then you will see that everybody else is actually doing quite fine as well. I mean, it may be true that the world has become more selfish, whatever it is, and this generation. But I also see one important thing, that today's young kids having a much, much better relationship to their parents than we had. They are much closer. They are like friends. They are like companions. At least the parents are the kids I know, and parents and so on. It's a totally, there is no more a gap, I would say. My wife is so close with her daughters and so on. It's just, I was never with my mother, and I like my mother. It was a different world between us. And now so there are changes, and it doesn't always go for the worse. It just focused different.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, we weren't. Yeah, that's true.
I think I get sad when I see elderly because I feel like I didn't get to live like I wanted to live when I was young. And I think that's one of the big things for me is there's a lot of things I never got to do because I was always working. I started working at a young age, and I gave up a lot of stuff, and I think that I probably resent that because, you know, you only have this life to be me, and things that I wanted to accomplish in this life I don't think I got to do. Because I know you go through the stages of your life, and there's different stages of, you know, how you're living your life, and then when you get to a certain age, you either are satisfied or resentful, and you know, you move through these stages, and I start to think, what am I resentful of? And one of the things I always feel bad about is that I never was able to have kids. And that's a sad, sad spot for me. If I start seeing too much stuff where people are posting stuff about their kids on the internet and all that, it's a hard one for me to get past. And you start to question, you know, why didn't that happen? And I wonder, do you keep getting like I've heard someone else say recently, you keep getting reincarnated with pretty much the same people, only in different positions. Like maybe in a past life, I was her mom or whatever like that, but was there anyone else around who just didn't come back this time? Like maybe that's why I didn't have children, because whoever was going to be just didn't want to reincarnate this time. So it didn't happen because there was something else I had to learn. You got to stop being sad about that, like projecting it on somebody else, if you know what I mean.
Can you find several reasons, and I don't mean it right now, why may be a benefit in the situation you are in it? Can you see some reason? Because everything is balanced. Even if you do not have children or cannot have children, there is a positive side in that as well. We don't want to go through it right now.
Right.
But if you really look at it, and even the fact that you think you had to work all the time, not following your bliss or higher excitement, as we said earlier, again, what were all the positive things which you learned and you grew and got from the fact that you did the past as you did it? If you really make a balance sheet, you might be surprised. And I hear from you that you also do follow your bliss. You sing, you play your saxophone.
Yeah.
I mean, you are doing you're doing now, taking time.
Now I am, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right, okay. Sometimes we have to, it takes time before we wake up.
Yeah.
But at least you now take time of that, and you just enjoy that, and you share that, and this is where you come out totally. It may never be your full career, but you never know, it might be. See, when I grew up, I always wanted to be a writer. But because in my family, banker family, being an artist, it means you're starving. There's no way. You know, artist equals starving. So I became a business person. I went to business college and so on. And for years I worked in business college, but I stayed with my highest excitement as a part-time thing. I wrote and I illustrated all the time, drawing for art and so on. And one day, suddenly, out of the blue, the opportunity presented itself to make this my main profession. This was some 35 years ago. And I started, and it was a success right from the beginning. I never dreamt it would be possible when I was 15, 20, 25 or so on, because it was just not in my belief concept. But I stayed with my excitement as a sideline, as a hobby. And suddenly I was able to make this my main profession, and everything was wonderful after that, from that point. So you never know where it leads you.
No, but I think it's like you say, with the youth-oriented world, you start to think, well, I'm getting to that point now where it's going to be too late, you know.
The majorities are baby boomers in this country. Are baby boomers. I mean, this is a real old aging country. So we are the majority.
That's true.
We are
That's
by
true.
far the majority,
That's
so
true.
we can put our foot down, and next time do it at the ballot box or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll say, we vote for us.
Right, right.
No, I don't know.
Do you think that we do, in some incarnations, come back without our family unit, and
Of course,
come back with other people?
Sure,
that
sure. If
Yeah.
you're done with your, if you have done your lessons to learn with the members,
Oh, so you move.
You find others who can fine-tune your final lessons, etc. Oh no, you're not stuck with the same souls all the time. But it often is the pattern that you reincarnate with the same souls, because there is so much interaction of past happenings which need to sometimes still be learned and to be loved and be forgiven. But it's not a rule. I mean, no, it's just. You can incarnate in any other group you want to learn. If you suddenly want to learn poverty, you may want to decide you go to Bangladesh or whatever it is, and that is more important, because that may be your main reason to explore poverty. And the relationship with other souls and previous lives may not be important, but poverty is your main issue this time. So you go right there. You may not know any other souls, but you will surely learn poverty. And your soul will grow from poverty. And going through that.
I sometimes have dreams where nobody is familiar. There's like nobody in there that I have any recollection of at all, and so
Strangers,
I wonder,
so to speak.
was
All
it a
aliens,
past
huh?
life?
Yeah.
Or,
All aliens.
yeah, well, it's
You ever
like
have dreams like that?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember.
Oh, I do too.
oh, nobody
who's
looks
that?
familiar at all. You wake up and you're like, you know, I can't even place that person with somebody I may have saw standing on the street corner, and so it's
I do
like,
too.
where? And then I remember one time, what was that book that was really popular? That MD.
The Conversations with God?
Conversations with God, and there was somewhere in there where he said that you can live two lives at the same time.
Yeah.
So
that
you've
true?
heard of that? You've heard of that?
It's a big subject, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it is?
The soul can split itself into many different kind of entities, etc. That is possible. It's a big thing. It's a video I haven't made it because it's a tricky thing, and people are getting so hung up on this one. My answer to this is, it may be true, it may be not be true. It has very little effect on me right now. I'm in this part. If I'm a part of a soul, and there are many others of me running around, that's their thing. I have to deal with this life right here and now. So it really doesn't matter much whether my soul is split into many other kind of entities or not, or whether it's just one soul here and I am that one. The thing is, I'm right here, and this is my playground, and this is what I have to deal with, and this is all. That's why I don't go too much into the other spheres, because people can intellectually get so crazy about this, but it doesn't get us anywhere knowing it, whether it's true or not.
Right.
No. What is important is what is right before you right now. What are you thinking right now? What are you feeling right now? That's all which matters.
I had spoken to a person who had some psychic abilities, and he told me about a person who went to another family. Wasn't part of the spirits. He said she was not part of the spiritual family she's with now, but she asked to be incarnated there to learn a lesson. So what he said, you know.
Well, I think sometimes maybe because you're connected in some way, maybe sometimes in some period of clairvoyance, maybe you pick up on something that's going on with one of how you're split up or whatever. That's the only way I can figure you would have something like that with people around you that you have no clue who they are.
In their dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But they're all part of you, from a spiritual sense, from the oneness sense, even if you may not recognize them as being sort of somebody acquainted with, but they're all part of you. The outside world may not exist. This is the big thing. There is nobody sitting outside of that. It's all internally happening. This is another big thing. There is no such thing like the world as we see it. It's an illusion. So whatever
I've
we
heard
see, it's another topic, another video. We can go there. But again, it says we can go and talk long about it. It doesn't help me much because I still have to deal with my emotions and with my thoughts I'm having right now and my situations right now in this lifetime. And I rather in my video concentrate on tools, how we can do and deal with that instantly and so on. So whether the whole world is an illusion or not is another subject, and it may be right, but I still am sitting here speaking with you and talking with you and sharing with you.
You are now, yeah.
So when you get to the point where you no longer have to reincarnate because you've learned everything that you've learned, do some souls just come back just to help others out?
Sure.
Even though they don't have to?
There are many reasons why souls come. Many reasons they come, either because we have to come because for karmic reasons, we are pulled back. They are coming here to help others. There are souls incarnating in this earth to explore Earth, which may come from other planets and so on, to explore life here on Earth.
Oh.
There are things to support mainly and so on, and to give a teaching or whatever it is. So there are many, many reasons. So the purpose of life in the video, as we said earlier, I said at the beginning, we all have an individual, very personal reason why we are here. And the ones I talk to you are the general ones. But there are many reasons. You cannot say that everybody comes here to undo their karma. That's not true.
All right. Okay.
There are many people who come here for many, many reasons. And I said earlier in this one example that somebody, you may have a husband who is alcoholic or whatever it is. That may be the only reason he or that soul incarnated to teach someone else a lesson. So not even to help them directly by, like you do in your job, right? But some indirectly by being a mirror or being somebody who really pulls them, and sort of. So there are many, many reasons why we incarnate, and we do not know. We don't know hardly ourselves why we are here. We cannot guess why someone else is here. So let's not speculate why somebody is here.
Yeah, it's hard to think.
No,
sometimes.
this is not our task to speculate why anybody is here in life. This is not and what karma they may have.
Right.
It's not our task, because they hardly know themselves. It's only between the soul and God why they're here and what their karma is, if there is karma.
I know sometimes when you think you're doing well and you're moving forward with all your beliefs and your thoughts, and then things start to get a little tough and you start to question everything again. Like,
That's good.
Why am I here?
That's
What am
good.
I doing here?
Right.
Why did I really come here? I'm getting older. I don't mind being banished to Florida, by the way. I'm good with that.
I call that a reality check.
Yeah, no, that's good. We have to question ourselves. That's what I said in the video. We have to question every belief we are having. Every belief. Is this true? Everything I say must be questioned by anybody who watches me in my videos. Don't accept anything because I say so. But if it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't make you free, doesn't make you more loving, question it, throw it away. This is not for you.
I haven't heard anything yet that I feel that way about.
Find something that
Yeah, but
does.
some people might find, a lot of people might feel threatened. The idea of many lifetimes, the idea of karma, of reincarnation, may be threatening for a lot of people who are very strongly, traditionally, religiously brought up.
Right.
They think
right.
it's the devil talking. And that's
Oh,
their
yeah.
problem. Yeah,
That's a tough one.
That's fine. But again, it would be helpful to question, is this true? Is this true? Does it make sense? Does it set
That's
me
true.
free?
Does it work for me?
I've always, I guess I've always been the kind of person where I don't accept things just as
Good.
they're taught to me. I always like to question. I've just always been that
Well,
way.
that's why you have this show here together.
See?
Because you are.
All those times I got in trouble for asking why when I was a kid. Can you take it back now?
Yeah. I can take it back now.
But why?
I know. It's been a really, really learning incarnation for me this time. I know that, and I wouldn't have gotten through it had I not been so searching for spirituality at a particular time in my life, which helped me to understand. So, God's been kind to me.
And you also stay focused, even if you're not searching by making another show. But again, you have to deal with the material. You're bringing yourself always back to it.
Right.
Sort of like checking yourself always. It says, go back, come back to what is really important.
I know. Well, it's that time again. We have to say bye and give our contact information.
No, I don't want to say bye.
I know. We'll put that up on the screen, and we'll let you know how to get a hold of us. For more information about Healing Outside the Box, you can contact me, Rosemary Lachance, at 203-627-7966, email whitebuffalo@comcast.net, or go on to my website, www.rosemarylachance.com, and look for us on our Facebook page under Healing Outside the Box. And to get in touch with Hans, it's www.lifeexplained.com, where all these videos are, or you can see him on YouTube. His phone's 203-222-9341. The email's hans@hanswilhelm.com. And I think we're just running out of time, so we're going to say bye now. Thank you for joining us.
I have no information to give. You can contact Rosemary.
We'll see you next time. Thank
Have
you.
a lovely evening.
Yes. Bye-bye
Thank you,
now.
Hans.
Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.